Hey guys, how's it going? You got Cody with Dink and Donuts. Today we're doing a podcast with Scott. Scott is the owner of Dynasty Pickleball. They're a upcoming awesome paddle company. They just sent me their foam paddles and these things rip. So we're going to dive into the Dynasty background and their paddles. So thank you, Scott, for joining me. It'll be a good time.
All right. Thanks, Cody, for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So, Scott, you and I have been talking here for a while now, trying to line up the schedules and line up a time to get this done. But here, I think it's been, 2 weeks now? Dynasty got the official approval through USA Pickleball for an approved paddle, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Cody. I mean,
Awesome.
we've been working with USAP for a while. We actually have 5 models now. This is Model 5, the
Okay.
Foam Legend. It's a Gen 4.5 paddle, and it's finally got the approval. It's been a journey, but we're here. We're finally proud to launch the brand with, a unique product, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, and it is definitely unique. It definitely stands out, and it's definitely different than everybody else. You guys are, separating yourself and not trying to just be a blanket paddle company. You guys are putting some design and everything to it, and it stands you guys out from just every other paddle company out there. So let's kind of get started with the backstory with Dynasty Pickleball and where you guys started at. So what inspired to create Dynasty Pickleball?
Well, Cody, first we started out in, we come from semiconductor manufacturing. We actually make commercial LED products for, one of our other companies, and we have a lot of warehouse space. And the funny thing is, in the warehouse, we're able to build a pickleball court where we started playing every day.
That's awesome.
I know. I mean, on our free time, of course. But so when we first started out, there weren't that many options for paddles. We actually started out with a few companies, right? When I played tennis, I played with Head, the brand. So we went with the Head paddles, probably in the $100 range. We got from Amazon. They're Gen 1 paddles. Polymer, polypropylene, no EVA foam, and of course, the Gen 1, they have a fiberglass face, and that's it. Technically, you're hitting with a sheet of fiberglass, and the surface was smooth. So the first time I played pickleball was in high school, and this is a very long time ago. I'd say maybe 2001. We played with wooden paddles, and that's how it felt to me. You couldn't shape the ball. There's no spin, and you can't control the ball. And to me, when I'm playing with something like that, that's unacceptable. Also, the fiberglass paddle on Head, it broke on me. I mean, yeah, with just regular play, it broke on me. And Cody, you said, you're a banger yourself. You already know.
Oh, yeah.
We hit this ball as hard as we can, every hit, just like in tennis. And the darn thing actually had a crack on the top of the paddle. It was crazy to me. Like, how's that even possible?
Man, you're ripping that thing.
We are, and it's so there's a few things that we have to change in this sport. First of all, the designs are too basic. You already covered that, right? I can't just have a black carbon fiber face paddle. It has no character. We followed the brand Yonex from Japan, and you see how beautiful, how bright the strings are. We want to be, at least influence the design a little bit. And make it more interesting, because this pretty much everything is second artwork that you can push onto a surface now, and it does not affect play at all. So why not?
Okay. So going into the characteristic and the the style that you're putting into it, you and I had this conversation with the paddles that I received, and at the time, I was like, man, it gives me like a Tony Stark, Iron Man type of vibe, and I picked your brain on what the idea and the background was for the paddle. And what was that again?
I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, this one is less loud, but you can see in the background, the Founders Edition is our loudest paddle. And for this model, we wanted a more futuristic theme because it is a next generation power paddle, and we wanted it to glow. Maybe we need to take better photos, because this thing glows.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we wanted.
Okay.
So far, feedback on the design has been, it's been mixed, obviously. We understand, when you do art, some people will like it, some people will hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Some would, some reviewers would hate it so much to even discount the whole paddle. They didn't even give it a fair shot. But, that's what you get with art. And there's a lot of things with this paddle. Actually, I should pull the other one.
I think I have mine right here.
So it's actually the founders edition that they have the most amount of questions with. You first look
Okay.
at it, you're like, okay, maybe it does look like a helmet, right? I mean, it's like Magneto vibes, Juggernaut. I mean, but you know, we had something else in mind, but we wanted this design to be the loudest. And believe it or not, some chick said this looked like a thong, and it's like a big booty. I was like, what in the world? Like, how did you get that? Like, that's impossible. But you know, it is what it is.
Awesome.
Can't unsee it. So you know, it's actually, and you made the post on Instagram. It's actually an energy sword. You know,
Yeah,
that's why
from Halo.
you did the halo.
Ye-
Yes, right. The energy power over here pushes the power to the front, just like our paddle is designed to do. And
Yep.
that's where we arrive, right? A lot of reviewers say we make crazy paddle designs, but to me, it's not that crazy. It's just
No.
there's a story behind every design, right? I mean, it's this one. They said this is the other one.
Oh yeah, is that like a big boxing glove?
Yeah, this is the heavyweight. This is
Okay.
one of our first designs, and you know it's used our holographic technology. There is nothing on the surface. I think you've touched the graphics on ours, right?
Yeah.
And you notice there is not.
Nope, there's nothing there.
That's part of semiconductor engineering that we're introducing to this field, where everyone says if you put the graphics here in the sweet spot, you lose spin. Not with ours. I mean,
Nope.
that's what we want to do. We want to be a little different. I know there's, you know, this field is, you know, it's pretty busy. It's crowded right now, right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy what the pickleball industry is becoming so quickly.
And that's just with the American established brands here. And if
Yep.
you go on Amazon, you see like there's hundred of other brands. I think they're overseas Chinese brands that are able to make paddles at at a low price. We want none of them have a design though. I mean, I can tell you that if you're gonna knock off our paddle, I mean, we're gonna put you to work. It's pretty difficult to do.
Man, I will say that your paddles put in the work. I've played heavily with your paddle, and I will rip this paddle with my forehand pretty dang good.
Designed it for tennis players, and you know, just to make them happy. The current sport, Cody, I mean, I think you understand it, it's too slow, right? We joked about the sport, and I showed you
Hmm.
the clip with where they asked the great Manny Pacquiao, like, what do you think of pickleball? And you remember what he said?
Too slow.
He said, oh, it's very slow, very slow.
Very slow.
Old people play pickleball, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is just ripping the sport a new one.
Yep.
And he's right, and there's a beauty to this sport, right? And that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. The good thing is anyone can play it. The bad thing is it's not ready for prime time, and that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do. We're trying to level up the paddle game. As you can see, they think they capped the speed, but they actually have not capped the speed of the sport. And I'll explain to you why. I mean, if we talk about the technological side, right? They're only testing the speed using the PB core system. So PB core is where they shoot the ball at a paddle that's standing still.
Hmm.
It calculates the reflection of the ball onto the face of the paddle at a standstill. But then they didn't test what happens when you swing the paddle at the ball, moving at it. That to me measures the true power, and that's where foam technology comes in. And you know, we're guilty of making the propulsion core stuff too. So this is our Gen 3 paddle. It is designed after, you know, just like everyone, right? The Gen 3, two foam layers, polypropylene honeycomb in the middle. The power pumps right into the face of the paddle, pushes
Hmm.
against the two foam layers. So the power pushes to the foam wall, and then it pushes back to the center to push the ball back like a catapult. And that's the old way of generating power. But the problem is this gives you a high PB core testing score. So it can only
Hmm.
do so much. It doesn't calculate what happens when you swing something like this. Because I can tell you, when you swing with something like this, with all your might, the power is actually muffled, right? You actually lose power. It's only good if you're whipping the ball towards, then you're
Yep.
getting full power. But if you do a full swing as hard as you can, you actually lose power. And this is where foam comes in. Foam is more like a baseball bat, right? When the power, it bends like water. So when you need to be soft, it can be soft. But when you swing as hard as you can, it it stiffens and it's like a baseball bat. This allows it to have higher end power than the Gen 3 paddle, and that's why this is Gen 4. And there is a big difference, and I think you're one of the guys who have unlocked the powers.
I try to at least.
I know, I know. I mean, it's a little hard to control in the beginning, but I mean, once you've unlocked this power, I think you will control the court.
Oh yeah.
And this is the point where, eventually, they'll understand how power is generated, but it's much higher top end power than Gen 3 because it can pass the PB core test.
Absolutely. I've kind of been on the same opinion as all the companies came out with foam paddles and everybody was like, "Oh man, I don't think foam is the way to go." As far as consumers, consumers are like, "Oh man, I don't know, foam just doesn't seem like it's the play." But you have you guys, you have Selkirk, you have Carbon, Diadem, you have all these different companies that are coming out with their version of foam paddles. And truly, I think, just like you're explaining, foam is the way to pass testing and still generate power that's legal. Yeah. But like you said, there's only so much you can get from testing with a stationary object with a moving object. Pickleball isn't stationary. Something is always moving, whether it's the ball, it's the paddle, and you're meeting in the middle. And yes, the game is drastically speeding up, especially with more tennis players transitioning over to pickleball. And tennis players have different swing mechanics than what traditional pickleball was meant for. And now you're seeing that in, the PPA and even just in rec play. The tennis players are almost controlling the court in a different fashion. You're seeing in singles, you're seeing more passing shots. It's no longer this slow cat and mouse game. It can be, but the newer generation is getting to be more tennis-like ground strokes with the passing shots and the angles. And I'm excited to see what the future becomes of pickleball and what companies like yourself are doing with innovating and moving forward with paddles, balls, just everything about the game. And I eventually think that it will be a highlighted sport more than it is already. I mean, I've been playing off and on since 2014, and
Wow. Okay.
looking back at paddles that I was playing with back in 2014 to now, it's crazy. Playing the way I do now with one of my older paddles, you just can't. I mean, I can swing and swing and swing as hard as I can, but the paddle just won't. The paddle has a limit
Yeah.
and it doesn't respond to the type of play style is, heavy ground strokes, heavy backhands, heavy overheads. It's meant for that, cat and mouse angles, being patient and waiting for the opportunity. Where now paddle is like, I try to have fun at recreation games and I take my old paddle and try to play with it in games. And it's just like I can't generate enough, pressure on the opponent to cause those mishaps just because the pressure I'm always on the defense because that the new paddle technology, all the pressure is always the ball's coming into me quicker. And so I have less time to react with those older paddles. And so I'm always on the defense.
Well, I mean, I can attest to that, Cody. I mean, the way the sport is played right now, it's too repetitive. I mean, the goal here is to hit the third shot reset and then rush the net, right? And
Hmm.
no power was on the third hit. You can just slice it. That way, if it bounces up and then it drops, it gives you 2 seconds for you to run to the kitchen line and then just camp there and you'll turtle it out and play the cat and mouse until someone pops the ball up and you put them away. So to me, I feel like every point is like that in pickleball, and this is why it's not really ready for prime time. There needs to be a focus on the drive, just like in tennis. You got to be able to drive that ball and make it effective. When you watch Jannik Sinner hit that forehand against Ben Shelton, I mean his forehand recorded 130 miles per hour on a forehand, and we want to see at least this is the court smaller, so you don't need it that fast. How about
Right.
65, 70 miles per hour forehands? Like, can we at least get that and give someone else, give us an opportunity to speed up this sport and make it more entertaining?
Hmm.
Of course, it's a little dangerous, but uh, uh, But then again, like stop camping out at the kitchen line, like you went out and get hit. Like if intent is
Yeah.
you pop the ball up at the net, I mean, what do you do? And when the guy's at the net, you duck and you get the
Oh,
hell out of the way, right? I mean, it's just there's no reason you should stand here and try to like, okay, I got it. No, not an overhead. It's coming right at you.
yeah. I see an overhead pop up and I'm like, oh, I'm just
Yeah,
bailing. You can have the point. You can, just no reason to stand there and take one to the teeth.
yeah. So if you want to be ready for TV, I mean, like I said, the sport has to be more entertaining. We want to see different kind of points than the MLP finals, where I just saw, where it was technically a game, who has faster hands.
Yeah.
Where in terms of strategy, I didn't see much. The one that volleys better wins the point.
Yeah. Talking about going into like leading into prime time, events and stuff like that and being a faster, more exciting game. How is Dynasty, leading the charge or helping innovate the charge in creating the future of the sport for everyday players or even current pros or aspiring pros?
Well, we're a newer brand, and we're
Hmm.
starting to come up here with a brand new product that's exciting. So we don't have the advantage in pretty much inventing anything yet. So
Right.
when we first came, right, we took what's already out there, right? And everyone liked the Selkirk Vanguard Power Pro. We took that and we created the featherweight champion to compete with that paddle. But the one that Quang Dong is playing with when he first started out, yeah, we liked that paddle a lot. But it actually it lacked power, and
Hmm.
it claimed that it was fast, but it lacked stability on the edges. So we took that. I mean, I think it's like Gen 2.5, almost Gen 3, and we brought it to Gen 3.5. We made a few enhancements to it. First, it didn't have enough foam around the perimeter, so we took the foam. We added foam on the inside as well as outside the arrow pockets. So we're a company that likes to maximize everything. We saw their arrow throw. We created 4 arrow pockets on the outside to see if we can make it even faster, and we did. Now their surface, they use a spray-on grit. I know they're using what's a new spray-on now, but why when we can just make a 3D 18K? Let's see if you can see it on the right here, 3D
Yep.
18K, and then we finish with a second layer of 3D 18K to create this texture, and that generates spin, the most amount of spin you can, and you can still add weights. Add weights to all 4 corners, and actually does not affect the swing speed at all. And this is our enhancement of that model. So we've taken every single model, right? We took the Yola Gen 3 and we took it to 3.5. They don't have a hybrid shape. We made the hybrid shape, which we feel was the best shape that you can make. And the funny thing is, for the longest time, right, like you said, we thought polypropylene, the Gen 3, like you can't beat it. And I told you the funny story when the first foam paddle came out, the Chew foam. I was playing with it, and to be honest, Cody, I wasn't impressed. Right, it lacked power. It had a lot of control. I kind of like it. The dwell time's decent, but there's no power in that paddle. So I made the mistake. I discarded the thing right away. But lo and behold, a week later, I come back to the Chew foam, and everything I was hitting, it was going in, and I
Hmm.
couldn't do that previously with honeycomb polypropylene. And just like that, I knew right away the technology foam is the future. And we went back to the drawing board 6 months later after maybe like a few hundred prototypes. And some of the videos I posted, I used to make videos on YouTube. I posted of me testing, the prototypes, and we came up with some wild stuff. One of the prototype, we were doing foam in the middle, foam layer in the middle. We did polypropylene on both sides, crushing the foam in the middle.
Huh.
And then we put, one of our investors says, why don't you go with expensive and put titanium layer on the outside? We did that. And, it was a very expensive prototype, but still everything after, few hundred prototype, we're back to foam on foam. So we took the carbon true foam. I'll explain to you what we did to take Gen 4 to Gen 4.5. First thing we did, the carbon true foam has holes. They have holes in the foam. right? And their holes go all the way. It's complete hole. It goes all the way to the other side. And we felt that, there's a few issues with that. That gives you dead spots. Believe it or not, like not everything on the paddle, no matter where you hit, there's a chance that there's a dead spot because of the holes. Also, the holes that gives you a chance of delamination because now not everything is glued to the carbon fiber and there's a hole right there. There's an opening. You hit hard enough time, like me and you slamming the ball over and over on the
Hmm.
machine. Eventually, it will dislodge. So that's the first thing we did. We have a solid EPP foam, the concentration we can't talk about. And we also included a second generation EVA foam. Both are incredibly stiff. No matter how hard I press on it, you cannot move it. And this foam on foam action actually cushions the power because it's two different kinds of foam
Hmm.
and there's no dead spots. And that's one and two. To generate power, not only, most paddle companies, they use what, like maybe like one or two layers of carbon fiber. We have two layers of fiberglass on the inside to dampen the hit, and then two
Hmm.
layers of T700 carbon fiber on the outside to give you more dwell time. So everything is a full layer. There's no opening. There's no holes. And the fourth thing I think we talked about is foam is a very tricky element, Cody. I mean, for you to keep everything intact, you can't just use normal glue. You already know of all the brands that try to drop foam and what happened to it. You put
D-Lam.
DLAM, disbonding. Let's say
Yep.
you put that came out of my the backpack came out of the back of my SUV. It's parked outside and it's being cooked alive every day
Yep.
here in Southern California. It's been what, like 103 degrees? Inside the car, it's like 130 degrees. Maybe one with the windows down, everything. It's like 130 degrees. It's being
Yeah.
cooked alive, and that's the kind of test that we do. It's cooked so alive that you can see the tape, the electric tape is coming off that we use, but nothing else is damaged. And that's how hot it is in Southern California. That's because of our nanotech polymer film bonding system that we only introduced recently. And this is how you glue something like foam together with foam. And I'm pretty sure it'll be standard in this field. But, we don't want to reveal way too much yet. I know we've been over this and now, yeah, about the PB core, about the nanotech. But that's what we're trying to do.
Been kind of going off script here. I'm trying to bounce around.
Try me.
Let's go. I mean, the foam paddle just came out, but if you can say, what's next? What's the next future step for Dynasty?
What's next for Dynasty? I mean, I get this in our email, our DM every day. I think mostly ping pong players. They want a wider face paddle. And
Okay.
and we're still brainstorming here on the next design. I mean, we can easily just make, the standard wide shape that everyone is making, Selkirk,
Right.
other brands are making. But I mean, why not experiment with something incredibly brand new? You see my videos I hit with the Agassi from Yola. I'm a big fan of his. That's a wild looking shape. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's elongated. But for us to
Yeah.
make a wide paddle that's brand new, we're looking at a few schematics right now.
All right. All right. I'll be keeping my eyes out and be keeping my DMs open with you and chit chatting a little bit more about it. I'll definitely be interested.
I mean, you'll be one of the first to know.
Look at that.
And yeah, the white face paddle is coming up next, and the shape after that is, it's also top secret. We have the schematic, we have the infrastructure to mass produce these paddles now, and using this infrastructure, we can do a lot of things. And if this is the hardest hitting shape, so if they've already approved this one, there's no reason they wouldn't approve, a wider paddle face.
Yeah.
There's where we feel like we're now in the safe. We have achieved, what they said is, the peak. This is the maximum power you can have already on a paddle. I know it's corny to say that. Everyone, every brand is saying they have the most power. They have, the most control. They have the most spin. To be honest, I mean, we feel the same way. And it's a strong claim, but if you've hit with it for a little bit, then I think you can see it.
Yeah. Well, I think I sent you a message right the first day I played with your paddle. I had got it and took it to the courts the next day, and was bouncing around. And I pull it out of the bag, and go play, and the first swing, like, was just a ground stroke, and it instantly caught me off guard. I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
I was I was not expecting it to be that lively. Like, it just it felt like it was just ricocheting off a tennis racket strings. Like, it just popped, and I was like, "Okay." Took me a couple seconds, and because I just play so heavy anyways, it took me a couple seconds just to get used to it, couple points, and man, I can let this thing rip now, and, it's fun,
Yeah, I mean, you're a big guy. I mean, how big are you, Cody? I mean, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9", and I'm about, like, 220.
220. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is where I'm trying to tell you, like, the more you put into it, the more power you get back. This is not the
Yep.
propulsion core anymore. So for, for a bigger, like, football player playing
Mhm.
tennis, you're gonna see it on something like this. What you give is what you're gonna get in return,
Yep.
and that's important. It doesn't muffle the power.
Yeah.
And
And that's why you made the comment, foam is future, and I've been kind of on that ride since, Selkirk and Carbon, put and Diadem pushed out the foam paddles earlier this year. I was like, I think these companies are all going to start making this transition, and you're seeing it. There's more and more and more foam paddles with all the companies now, and that's what everybody is coming out with. They're trying different, iterations of foam, different type of the core system, if it's going to be bonded to the edge foam or if it's going to be like a floating core, kind of like a Gen 3, but only with foam. You're seeing all these different, change ups and combinations in the paddle industry with foam. And I think it's just going to continue. And, eh, every company is going to take the next step, and then there's going to be another step. And then it's just going to keep, that escalator ladder moving forward with the game. And
yeah,
I'm in it for the long run. It's gonna be exciting to see.
the big companies, we have to give them credit, right? They tried it first, and obviously they rushed it out. But we came after. By them coming first, we get to study theirs, see what they came out with, and we learn from their mistakes. And there's where we come in. We're only refining the product for now. Our next
Yeah.
project, Model 6, we are not, I can't even mention it. It might get in trouble already talking about it. It'll be completely different.
Okay,
And
okay.
and we're always testing new stuff, but now that we have the infrastructure, we have plenty of time,
Oh,
before
yeah.
we rush out the next generation, before we do Gen 5.
Yep.
We don't want.
You have the baseline, and now it's just making those finer tweaks and getting more spin, more power, more dwell, more pop, and just refining it into the next iteration.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we can't talk about innovations, and we can't really talk about upcoming launches. We talked about the wide body, but what kind of big events is Dynasty? Do you guys have any big events coming up in the California region, or branching out, and doing events elsewhere? You guys looking at doing any type of, in your future launches, doing kind of like a big launch? I've seen a lot of these reviewers that have been doing it longer, and they're going to, like, they went to the Adidas launch and the Yola launch, where they're trying to promote these launches. Is that in the books for Dynasty, and bringing people down to do a big launch and try to heavily promote the paddle before it's released? What's that look like?
well, we were on a time crunch for Model 5, the foam legend,
Hmm.
right? If we didn't release it right away, I mean, we may have lose our spot. We're
Right.
we don't have the advantage, Cody. We're a newer company trying to break
Yeah.
into this field that's
Hmm.
dominated by, I'd say, maybe 6 or 7 extremely large brands, including Adidas, Wilson. Even though they haven't made their mark yet, I'm sure they have sold a ton of paddles using their brand. Have I seen a Wilson paddle? Actually, I've seen a few Wilson paddles. They look like tennis rackets out in the wild. But we we didn't have the time, right? Even we haven't really marketed this product yet. It will be soon when all 5 colorways come out within the next couple of weeks. We will have a full launch. But in the future, of course, right? Right now we're not inventing anything yet. So for us to invite you to a party and just an upgraded model, we feel that's not right.
Oh yeah, no. But in the future, you guys are going to be trying to, for big new launches. You guys have plans for something to promote those big launches?
Yes, for Model 6, guaranteed. I mean, we'll welcome you
Nice.
to sunny SoCal to take a look ourselves with one of our main events.
Hopefully it's during the winter here because I get snow, so it'll be nice to catch some sunny.
I mean, when it's ready for release, but
Yeah,
it's good to have a hype party and talk about, talk about the product like what we're doing right now. It's I think this is my first time on a podcast other than other videos.
right.
And eventually we'll get there, right? We're just not there yet to be.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I think the foam series that you guys have came out with, once people get their hands on it, I think Dynasty will be taking steps into the paddle industry. Yes, you're small right now, but it sounds like you guys have some unique ideas. You have the technology and you have the time and the focus to put it into plan. And I think this paddle shows. And like we started off, some people aren't big on graphics.
Yeah.
Some people will like it. And that's just a niche thing. It's yes and no. Do I think it's cheesy? No, I actually think it gives it character. It gives it a little bit more pizzazz than just, hey, I have a red carbon paddle or, like carbon faced paddle, or it's all black, or, the edge guard's red and the paddle face is black. You guys have a little bit more characteristic to your paddle, and it gives it a little bit more, it speaks a little bit more loudly about the paddle. And,
Yeah.
it's different and
It's
it works for you and it has a story. It's not just like you said, like the heavyweight with the boxing glove. There's a story behind it. The featherweight, everything has a story about the design, and that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have mixed feedback about the graphics so far. Some people say it's ugly, and a lot of people say, you guys designs are sick. This is why we buy your paddle. And that's where we want to be, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
if it's just consensus, we all like it. I mean, that's impossible. It's impossible to please everybody.
Yeah.
But we are releasing our most minimalistic model. It actually comes next week. It's the deep
Okay.
space gray. That one has the least amount of graphics. You can see that on our website. And our new
Okay.
website is also coming up. So the old website, dynastypickle.com, will cease to exist in a bit. And our new website being worked on, marketing, will be dynastypaddle.com. Will run a different system, and all the future releases will be on that website while we sunset the old website. This
Okay.
right? I mean, and that's the way. Well, I mean, I'm glad you like the design.
And once I knew the story about the energy sword, it
Well,
piqued my enjoyment about it. That was cool.
most people got this one, so they didn't. Well, maybe I think we sent two to everybody.
Yeah, I think you said the Founders Edition,
Yeah,
and then the other one that was a little bit less.
yeah. The Shadow Edition doesn't have the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all future models are futuristic, making this the Founders Edition a collector's edition because it probably won't come in again.
Oh, well,
This
I might have
model.
to switch my paddle. I might have to switch my paddle out and play with the other the other one then.
We normally don't release the same colorway twice, and that's
Yeah.
just something we've learned. We just want to be different. That way we know
Yeah.
which version you got and when you got it, and
Yeah.
that's important to us.
Well, Scott, I think we hit all of the questions that I had. I'm gonna leave it up to you right now. Is there anything that we didn't talk about or that you want to touch on more with Dynasty that you want to input on that?
Well, I mean, we're still experimenting, even with this model, right? This is only version 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're taking every feedback from every reviewer and every customer to make the V2. I mean, the V2 is not gonna have any core changes because that's that will
Yeah.
violate the rule. But it'll have a few tweaks. Maybe added weights. Maybe we'll refine the handle. Maybe we'll add more weights to the handle to balance it out a little more to reduce the swing weight. Right now, it's at I think 118. We
Okay.
we could try to reduce the swing weight to about 114 like our older paddles if we can just add weight to the handle, or we can
Mm-hmm.
just add weights, internal weighting system to the neck, to the throat. You can also add the piece of tape here and you have
Yeah.
it. That will lower the swing weight. And there's a few things here, that we want to do. That refinement in the drive, right? Internal weighting on V2 will come out, and the next colorway as well. But deep space black is also coming out, which is the next colorway, which it will be minimalistic. It will satisfy everybody. You can see it on our website, www.dynastypickle.com, and it'll
Okay.
give you an update. And I think
Awesome.
you have any other questions?
I don't have any questions at this time. I think we hit the main topic about who Dynasty Pickleball is and your guys' main launch that we're focusing on right now. Looking forward to see what Dynasty Pickleball does in the future. After talking with you, I think you guys are right there within the foam world
Phone game?
and the foam game. And I think just chatting with you outside of this and chatting with you today, I think you guys have some ideas coming forward, and I'm looking forward to hearing about them and seeing them and giving them a rip because man, I like ripping that ball and I like seeing the speed go up. Unlike other people want to slow the game back down, but I want that. I want it to speed back up.
Yeah, well, we don't want the paddle to just catapult the ball off and
No,
give everyone that. We want to see like if you're a big dude, you want to hit that. It should reflect upon like your power and how big you are. You
oh
should
yeah,
be
the
able,
power
yeah,
input should be the power in output. Yeah.
absolutely, and that's how it should be. And it's efficiency in generating the power that we're working on as well, right? Your swing weight versus the force that you put in, and the swing speed is important. Not just flicking the wrist and the thing just propels right off, catapults right off the face, and anyone can do it. And
Hmm.
that's just not how it's supposed to work. And then it'll cap the speed off the ball. And we got these new balls that's coming out that you already know about. That's faster than ever. And I think
I want to get my hands on those.
it's a right step for the sport. And
Oh,
bangers, me and you, we just want to slam this ball and have a good time. There's
yep.
nothing wrong with that, I hope.
I don't think so. You watch the competition level games.
I
It's
feel that.
fast. It's reaching those levels. Now, the just recreation level game. They want to have fun. They want the longer rallies. I don't think that there's a fine line between like competition play, high level rec play, and then just rec play. And I think the rec play they want to stay in the longer rallies, the little bit slower pace. But then the people that are competitive in nature, they are going to want the faster pace paddles or the more power paddles, the faster pace balls, and they are seeking those next level improvements for the game. And I think there's a good mixture of everything in the world right now, and I don't think there's a wrong spot in pushing those limits in that competitive level gameplay. So
Well, they
we'll see. We'll see.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Like you can still play slow, when you're playing that regular game, depending on, like the age group, or if it's a slower game. But the ability at the higher end, the top end, where it's more competitive, I leave it to the professionals to make this game faster and more interesting for everybody.
Yep.
And that's where we just want to be. Like if you watch tennis, like you watch the pro tennis players, I mean, you can't do that at home. Like I played tennis my whole entire life. There's no way in hell I could there's no way you can rally more than 5 shots against a pro because every shot they hit's a winner.
Yeah.
But in pickleball, it just feels like, like whatever they're doing, like you can still kind of achieve that level. And we're not giving the pros the credit that they deserve because we're not arming them with the right tool to hit that Sports Center top 10 hit, that beautiful highlight shot,
Yeah.
where everyone stands up and applaud. Be, and I feel bad for the pros, right? We have to arm them with the correct weapons to go out there and entertain, right?
Hmm.
Because you're at the end of the day, when you're a professional player, you're an entertainer as well,
Absolutely.
and that's what we want to do. If they say the speed, this is speed limit, we're gonna improve that spin. We're gonna improve, we're gonna improve control. We want to see you hit that crazy shot, the passing shot, and make a name for yourself, make the name for the sport, and not let guys like Manny, or other guys knock the sport.
Well, I think from where it was to where it's going, I mean, it's already the fastest growing sport in the world. It's getting talked about more and more and more, and companies like yourself are helping put the name of pickleball out there as not just a game anymore, but
No,
now it's a legitimate sport. Does it have similar characteristics to tennis? Yes, but it's still drastically different than tennis because of the distance, the width of the courts. I mean, you're still swinging a paddle instead of a racket, but it truly is different, and it does take a little bit of a different style and maneuver to play this game effectively. And once you get that down, yes, tennis players have the strokes to put the ball away with some power, but there's still a learning curve. They can just achieve the learning curve a little bit faster than others.
Yeah, and if done correctly, pickleball can achieve what tennis has achieved in the long run because it's a fairly new sport. Most people don't really play it yet, and that's why it's not on TV. That's probably the reason why as well. But to get more people to start watching and playing, I think they need someone to look up to, like a professional player, see the way they
Yeah.
play, be motivated to go out and play and be like that person. Just like we want the kids growing up. Clearly the tennis players, they're really famous right now. The US Open is playing right now.
Yeah.
And eventually pickleball, I think within maybe 5 or 10 years could reach
Oh
that
yeah.
level. Yeah.
I, I
I
I think
I hope so.
it's I hope so. I think it's making correct strides. I think there's in the, competitive pro level, I think there's things that just need to be done to make it a little bit more professional level.
Yeah.
I have opinions on that. Maybe that's the time for you and I can join in on another podcast and we can talk about that type of thing. But I think there's strides to be made. I think there's some that are being made currently, and I think there's ones that need to happen. But that's my opinion, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Really appreciate it, Cody. Thanks for having.
Hey, Scott, absolutely. Thank you. Hang out at the end, but all right, guys, thank you for joining in with Dynasty Pickleball and Scott, the owner of Dynasty Pickleball. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. Please take a look at their website, take a look at their paddles. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Catch you guys later.